Alright, so this is what we cook in the cooking school for the last couple of 3 schools. So I got here my strip loin steak. In the cooking school I used ribeye, but I'm going to use strip loin steak here today with brandy mushroom cream sauce. I'm going to do some corn on the cob and baby potatoes. So in my forequart, I put the potatoes in the bottom. I'm going to break the ears of corn. I have just a few ounces of water just outside the last ring on my forequart into the pot on a medium heat. That's for the corn and the spuds. So we're going to let the whistle go off on that. Whistle goes off, we shut the vent and turn it to a low heat for about 10 minutes. Got our onion, got steaks, gotta have onions. Onions and shallots gotta go in the steaks definitely. So I'm going to slice up some onions nice and thin. That's 1 full onion sliced up. I have some garlic here. We're going to chop up the garlic. Let's give it a quick chop. You can never have too much garlic. I have 1 sprig of rosemary here, so what I'm going to do with the rosemary is I'm also going to chop that up. I'm going to add that on the steaks right before we flip them so they sear into the meat nicely. I'm using some brown button mushrooms, and we're also going to use shiitake mushrooms here today. Right? So what we're going to do is slice these mushrooms up. Now you can use quite a lot of mushrooms because just like onions, they kind of break down. Now my shiitake mushrooms here, you don't eat this middle part, the stick. It's kind of tough and woody, so just pull them out right from the middle and then just slice the rest up. Those stems from the mushroom, the shiitake mushrooms are great for a stock. So I got the strip loin steaks here. I'm going to trim them a bit, trim some of the fat off here. These are not going in the barbecue in a pan, so we'll take as much fat off as we can. I got some cracked sea salt and cracked black pepper. We're going to season the steaks lightly. The water beads in the 10-inch skillet. Steaks go into the pan. So we're going to sear this meat nicely. Now we're going to brown the meat about 5 minutes. Oh, whistle for the corn's gone off, so I shut that vent, turn it to low heat. Pretty much good to go by the time the steaks are done. So at 5 minutes the steaks have been cooking here. They're starting to sweat a little bit. Now as the steaks start to sweat, this is when I put my onions and my garlic into the pan. Right? You might get some of the fat coming out of the steak and that moving the sides of the pan, which might create some burning. If you find that, a great way to rectify that is to put onions and garlic or put carrots or celery in there, you know. I love onions. So onions are going to go in there. I'm going to sprinkle the steaks with a little bit of that rosemary. Now I'm going to flip them over nice and easy, nicely seared. Okay, we've added no oil to this, so we're going to sear the steaks nicely. Flip them both over. As soon as I flip them over, I can start smelling the rosemary. The aroma is just delicious. Alright, so we're cooking our steaks away here nicely. We like the steaks in the medium rare side, so we're going to cook in a few minutes here. I always just touch the steak to see if it's nice and soft inside. You can still feel it. The harder it's getting, the more well done it's cooking. I'm moving my onions around here so they're not burning. So we're going to move the onions around. I'm going to take the steaks out here shortly, let them rest, and we're going to finish the sauce. So the steaks come out. Let them rest on the side. If you take your steaks and cut it immediately, the juice is going to come out of the steak and you have a much drier steak. Let the steak sit for at least a minute. You know, if it's a roast, let it sit for like 5 minutes and you'll have a lot more moisture in the steak. All the mushrooms go into the pan. I'm going to put the lid on here so we can sweat some of the moisture out of the mushrooms because it's quite dry inside the pan. So lid on and just for 2 minutes to help the mushrooms sweat. We're going to stir them around and then we're going to do a little flambe here. So pour the brandy in. Now when you're doing a flambe at home, just be careful you don't lose your eyebrows. You know, that's always a horrible thing to do. So we're going to burn the alcohol off. We've got the brandy in there with the mushrooms. That brandy is also deglazing the pan and picking up all that lovely flavor from the steaks. The brandy is cooked pretty much right down. I'm going to add a cup of red wine and reduce that by half. Once the red wine is reducing, I can always push it to the sides of the pan to help reduce a little bit faster. But once that reduces, I'm going to add in half a cup of cream and reduce that to the thickness. Now, corn's ready, potatoes are ready. It's pretty much good to go. Sauce is almost ready. It's just cooking to the right thickness, and when cooking with cream, always check your seasoning. So there we go. We got a medium rare steak with brandy flambe mushrooms, corn, and new baby potatoes, and that's the way we like to do it at Chef Warren's house.